All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Wednesday, May the 25th, 2016. And the title of tonight's webinar is How to Make Safe and Profitable Trades. And as everyone knows who's been to our webinars or our live trading rooms, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading rooms or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? I don't see any, so let's just go ahead and get started. I want to show you, just like I start out each webinar lately anyway, and I showed how to build the template for this, and if we need to, we can go over that again, but I think everybody got that last week. But you should be able to see a chart coming up on your screen, and I'm going to ask you just a real simple question, okay? Because too many people get involved in, thinking that a trade, maybe it's already run or whatever, but what is the overall trend on that chart right this very moment? And nobody should miss it. Absolutely, right? Nobody's missing it so far. Lots of people are chiming in saying it's long. Absolutely it's long. So let me ask you a quick question then. Why would you want to short it unless you're going to scalp it with another chart? Okay? You just don't want to do that, do you? Okay, so let me just show you something here. This is what I like to do every day, and if you can't do it on the little chart like I'm doing here, do it in your mind. Okay, do you remember in the room this morning where we got that great short out of NQ, but I said up front that here is the longer term swing, and if it doesn't take it out, it's still an uptrend. Everybody remember that this morning in the trading room? That's really important, okay? Because until they start taking out these trends, you want to be really careful, because when they decide to flip and go the other way, they do it in a heartbeat, or we might even call it a New York minute, right? So in my personal opinion, it is extremely important to know where you're at on your chart. Let's see, can we just trade with Lightning 3 to have less trades? Well, you actually could, GW, on your question. Now, keep in mind, even if you traded with Lightning 3, let me show you some things about it here. So you've got 13 right here and 16 right here. It never took out this swing, did it? Okay. But what if you were all the way up here and you got this fill up here and you wanted to hold this thing literally with a 20 tick stop? You could do that, yes. And there's a lot of people that actually trade with even heavier stops than we ever use in that room. For instance, if you look at this chart, I'll just start it right here and draw the Lightning 3. And just like I teach, isn't that a low here? Because we just started here. You don't have to worry about all this. That's a low, that's a high, that's a higher low, a little higher high by 5 ticks anyway, right? Higher low and even higher high. And a higher low again than even this one. So that's pretty much telling you that you're wanting to do only long trades, right? Unless you want to scalp. Now you can scalp. I won't go over that as much tonight, but if we see some opportunities, I'm going to show you that you can easily make those 5, 6, 7, 8 ticks. Okay? And that's another thing too, GW, on your question, saying I'm trying to avoid over trading. Did you notice last week when I showed my son's account on Saturday? It's in the webinar on Saturday. It's not hidden. It's a real account. I showed the percentage that was done for the week. I'm kind of a private person. I don't normally do that type of thing simply because we're teachers. We're trying to teach everybody to see what we see. But you could clearly see that that was 81 point some odd percent, $170 drawdown last week, and very, very good trading. $1,410 profit for the week, and that was one contract. Okay, so that's a little bit more the way I traded that even that particular week. you know, because I watch these swings. You know, for instance, if you look at this chart right here, all right, let's just go ahead and draw all the lightnings. Here's lightning 4. All right. You can clearly see you got a little double bottom here, higher high, higher low than down here, isn't it? And of course, you don't have anything now from here because this is actually, if you could see underneath this green line right here, there is a blue line because it's drawing from white to this blue. Okay, this is your lightning 4, so it's drawing from white, okay, to blues, white to blues. Okay, that's the way it does. And if we go over a little bit further, of course, you could clearly see that, well, it doesn't look like we've got anything actually before that, do we? Let's see if we can find one. Yeah, there's one. We could draw it from way back here, couldn't we? Lightning 4. Now keep in mind, lightning 4 is also off of a 12 range chart, okay? So there's your little white and literally just went all the way up to here, didn't it? And then you've got this, of course, this. And see, if you look at a chart, squish it up a little bit more, would you possibly short this chart to begin with? Unless you're a scalper type trader. And there's a lot of people that aren't scalper traders. So, you know, why short it if you're not? Okay. Lightning 3 will get you some really good trades, by the way. Now, when a trade just runs like crazy, even lightning 3 will go ahead and draw these little swings. Okay. Let's make sure we've got our lightning correct. Let's make sure. 4 range, 4 range, 4 range, 15 swing strength. And this one should be 12 range and 5 strength. So they're all correct, okay? All right, so like GW was asking just a second ago, yes, GW, on your question, you could actually trust something like lightning 3 if you wanted to stay in a trade longer when it's trending. Okay, now when it's sideways, you're going to really have to watch like a previous swing, but you're still going to get the same higher lows and higher highs even then on these larger lightnings. And I think this makes it pretty easy to trade myself, because to give an example, if you were to see this, let's see where it's at with lightning 1. Let's just draw it right here. All right, you can clearly see that you got a little thrust up. Okay, so that's even a higher high than over here now. See there? So you got a higher low, a higher high. Okay, so obviously you're not going to be wanting to do anything but basically stay with the trend. Okay, now that's going to make a big difference in how to make safe and profitable trades, especially if you wait for the pullbacks. You know, don't go buy and thrust though. You know, for instance, if you bought this up here, you're probably going to be sorry. Okay, because that's a thrust. Let's see where it's at right now. That's like 765, 17,765, right? Or 7, it might even be 4 because I'm on top of that. So that's like 17,764. Where could it draw back to and still be a higher low? Well, it can't take out this swing, right? Now, when I'm trading something like this for what I call a safe and profitable trade like this, I'd probably use the secondary lightning back even. You see what I mean? Or you might even use this one. But keep in mind, if you use this one right here and you get a pullback into like a lightning for a heads up again, then you'll probably want to be using, you know, like a previous lightning swing. Okay. Now this particular way is going to make you have to have a little bit larger stops if you take thrusts, but it's not so bad if you take the pullbacks. Because the pullback, where do we expect this to actually pull back to? What does everybody think? What does everybody think on this? Let's look and see where it hadn't been. Let's just see where it hadn't been yet. Okay, it hasn't been to 37 yet, and it hadn't been to 23 or even 18, right? So let's just draw a line down in here and see if we can see if it'll come back to these areas like right through here, right? Okay, so that would be the pullback I'd be looking for. More than likely, I'd be looking for this one right here because that looks to me like it would probably be closer to a mid-band, wouldn't you think? Maybe a little bit more like a mid-band. Okay, let's look at the actual chart. But everybody see how even with just these lightning swings, you can tell where to get in these trades? Because we're looking at a higher highs and higher lows, and all we want is a pullback. And I draw on my chart. I see an a priori swing. Basically, these are called lightning swings. We're going to quit calling them a priori swings because we're basically doing away with that. But these are lightning swings, right? 37, 23, and 18. It has checked 94 almost. It checked 98. Okay. I still consider that a check because we're talking about a little bit larger swing. So it's checked here. So where do you think it'll check next? Probably here, here, or here. Okay. Let's just see if it does, just for the fun of it. Let's go ahead and get our regular chart so we can see what it looks like. And we decided to draw it where at 23-ish, right? We decided to draw it at, 28? And then 37, wasn't it? Let's see where it goes. 28, 23. That's not an a priori right there. That is right there. So now we're looking for at least mid-band or lower, right? So let's just see if we can get a trade. I'm going to kick it up to about, hopefully 10 times. Shouldn't be too fast for us to catch it. Now remember, you want to at least get down to that a priori swing, or possibly even that mid-band. But keep in mind, if we do the mid-band trade instead of the a priori, because that's where our previous support is now that was resistance, then more than likely we're going to come down below this, a little bit below mid-band, aren't we? If we're going to check here or even here. Okay? Let's see if we can get one of them. Now, by the way, I am a little bit more of a scalp type trader. I would have actually more than likely taken that trade right there, boxed it in, and gotten a 5 ticker on another chart. Because those are absolutely a decent trade too. And that's also a safe and profitable trade too, as long as you keep your stops tight. Okay, but you got to keep your stops tight. Let's let this run and see what we can get. I'm going to go ahead and turn on Object Trader so we can actually take it. We'll go ahead and bring Object Trader in. Replay mode. We'll do like 3. And let's see if it'll come down to one of our little spots we think it will. There's 37 right there, isn't it? Went a little bit below 37. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Does that already show you where that you could probably get in this trade? A little box. Okay. Now keep in mind, when they do these deeper retracements like this, a lot of times they consolidate. So, we may get, very possibly some fairly deep consolidation. We're going to find out. Let's go ahead and box it in though. I kind of like that. Now, truthfully, I would probably go even something like this, because this is right down near Phantom, and do something like a little long, very possibly like a touch plus 3 if we could get it, because it should bounce off of that little swing here, and not really any lower than this one because it's already checked this other one down here. We've already seen that. See if we can get something. Didn't go quite as low as I wanted it to. Now when I see that bounce off of a swing like that myself, I usually go ahead and just take, like 1, for instance, and then turn my control on again, because I'm just dipping the toe right now because it came down to a perfect level that I wanted. All right, now going by GW's question just a little bit ago, okay, how about we do use this stop down here? that we drew our lightning on, you think, whoa, wait a minute, that's 19 ticks. With one contract on YM, that's $95. Okay. Now you could clean your account out fairly quick if you just continually give away $95 times, say, 3 contracts, right? But what GW is talking about there, though, is this is actually your higher lows and higher highs. Okay, that would be using Lightning 3 as your stop. Okay. Now, if I was to use Lightning 3, I would not turn on like reverse or something like that if it took it out, because more than likely it's going to barely take it out, possibly take you out of the trade and then pop up too, kind of like they did this morning, okay, on NQ. All right, now I'd probably box it in like right above this little third candle back myself, being a little bit more aggressive, like that. And we're still, notice that we're in one, but we're just trying to get in some extra ones if it'll go ahead and pop up, that is. We'll see if we can get something. Now, anytime you see red on Object Trader, that always makes you nervous because you're thinking, whoa, wait a minute, I'm red by 10 bucks. Well, what's 10 bucks in the scheme of trading, right? It's really nothing. All right, we know that we've got our higher low right here than even this one. See, that's 13, that's 16, and that one's 698. So that's definitely trending still upward, isn't it? Okay, let's speed this up a little bit. At least I got Object Trader working for this one really good. My last Saturday webinar, I don't know what it was, but Ninja just totally cratered, and it wouldn't even let us do any kind of strategy whatsoever. Okay. GW, on your question from earlier too, we're going to go ahead and even leave this just to see, you know, what you're talking about there with a little bit more conservative way of trading, you know, Lightning 3, to give an example. If we, you know, still stay profitable and everything, we'll let this little thing ride if you want to, and we'll simply change it only when Lightning 3 goes higher. If it goes higher, we don't know it's going to, because I didn't trade overnight. Now in the morning, I'll show you the trade that we took, and it was monster. But I'm never up at 2 o'clock in the morning, so this is more fair to show you something that I haven't seen. Now see, we're feeling a little bit of heat, but notice with only one contract, I can't get hurt too bad on this. By the way, if that, okay, there it just added my other contract. Now I'm going to feel a little bit more heat because I got 4, so every tick's going to be 20 bucks. Okay, this has to hold right down here, doesn't it? And we expect a higher low than that, so that's a pretty safe stop, even if I choose 19 because of the higher lows and higher highs with Lightning 3. Remember, when you're trading, you've got Lightning 1, which is minor as it can be. You got Lightning 2, which is a little less minor. And then you've got Lightning 3, which is the one we're using right now. Lightning 4 I would not trade with because you can literally have 70, 80 tick runs. You don't want to put a stop, anything like that. This looks like this might go. But let's just let it ride based on Lightning 3. And I'll go ahead, we've got one target way up here out of the way just in case it decides to blow up here. But we would probably put one of our targets like up here at this ellipse, right? Just at the ellipse itself. Might even fade it a tick or so, like that. And then we'll just see if we can get profitable. Yeah, got some profit, don't we? Now watch in real time. If this actually happens to do a little zigzagging, it's probably going to get another identified swing, isn't it? Now it's not doing it yet because it's got to do a little thrust, little pullback, little thrust. Otherwise this will never form down here with a number. until it actually breaks like previous swings with a vengeance. It's got to get 15 bars. Remember, that's what the Lightning 3 is. It's 15 bars. And it doesn't matter if they go straight up or if they just chop side by side. It'll still print these little numbers here. Okay? All right, well, we got $230. That's not too shabby. We've got 2 contracts left. Just let it ride for a minute and see what we get. Now, how many of you, when you get a runner, it looks like we're getting a runner, by the way, how many of you lose your runner because you tighten your stop too much? Because we got in way down here at 17,729, okay? But we've already got some decent profit on it, and we need to get a higher low by Lightning, right? Lightning 3, as soon as it forms, we'll know. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the box. We don't need the region anymore. We'll just take it off. Bear with me a second. Some questions come in. I get out way too early and miss the runners. Well, I thought the scalp we were supposed to put stop it. Well, Brian, on your question, now we're not talking about scalping right now. What I'm talking about is some basically safe and profitable trades if you just simply trust like your Lightning, okay? Because you have 4 Lightnings that basically we're using. Lightning 1 is a single strength, which is basically just 4 range bars. If they go up, you know, it draws it up. If they pop down, it draws it down. It's just literally a zigzag. The Lightning 2 is a little stronger because it has to have at least 2 bars in a swing, okay? And then Lightning 3 is what we're using right now. It's using a 4 range bar, but it's using a 15 swing strength. Okay, now while I was talking, I could have taken that off the table, couldn't I? But let's just try something and see if we can stay in a trade based on Lightning 3. And by the way, since we're only in 1, what we'll do, you want to? Well, let's just, we'll just add, see we just added based on that little ellipse right there. And then I can quickly take 3 off if I want to just by simply watching the bar. If the bar even tries to close down, I can go ahead and get it out if I want. Like that. See, and I still made a little bit more money by doing that. That's just like a quick bounce. Actually, I would have bought it at market instead of waiting for the bar to close myself because it just hit that ellipse perfectly. Let's speed this up and see if we can stick with the trade. Notice that you don't have a number here yet. There's no number. Now there is here though, see it? It formed here. So couldn't you then raise your stop just under there with exit on close? See, now we've only got a 9-tick stop. But notice a few minutes ago, because we were using Lightning 3, we actually had a 19-tick stop. Okay, now if you're using Lightning 3 and it's run like a big dog and there's no Lightning 3s forming even, don't put your stop 80 ticks down. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, but as long as they do this zigzagging, you know, where they get a thrust and a retrace, a thrust and a retrace, you're fairly safe in doing this. I do this a lot myself even when I just throw in like 1 contract, something like that. So you're starting to technically get a little higher lows. You've got support right down here at 25, right? Now, if this is going to head up, what do we expect it to do? We expect our next Lightning 3 to be higher than 25. Now, doing this particular way, you're not really, I'm not going to be showing scalping as much tonight because if you scalp, you want to do a pretty tight stop. You know, in other words, if we would have scalped this right here, boxed this in, and taken this short right here, obviously we would just simply go for like maybe this previous swing right here, okay? you don't really want to just risk and load the boat on a trade like that, because you can also get into a problem where you barely get taken in and the very next bar is up and then they shotgun it too. That can happen to you. So be very careful going against trends. Okay, we're still doing okay on it. Y'all want to add if we get to another ellipse? We'll see if we do. If we touch an ellipse, I'll go ahead and add 3. But only if we get to touch an ellipse. I picked the slowest. Now I would probably do one right there. See it right off support? See right where that line is? And probably quickly take some profit if it comes up like to this previous little area, like right up here or even here. This is just doing a little scalping in the range right here. This is what I was showing this morning on NQ. There, you could even sell the 3, see there? And then you're back in 1. Now we'll only add again if we get down to an ellipse. And that's if we get down to an ellipse. You want to speed it up and see if we can get to an ellipse? Notice how that's adding up decently anyway. Let's speed it up a little bit and see what we get. There's going to be an ellipse form. See it right down here? We'll try it. See, that made a higher low even on our micro trend so far. So if this comes down to right there at mid-band, at that ellipse, I'll jump in and add some more contracts. And that's if. We may just keep going up. It's hard to say. Okay. Now, when you're in a range like this, if you were in multiples, I would highly recommend taking most of your coin right here. See how the ellipse is already telling you where it's going? But we don't add unless we get a little retrace. Okay, because I'm looking for right here. And notice we got a higher lightning, so we can bring our stop just under here. See that swing? Exit on close. Let's see, just one sec. So when you buy your 3, there is no target, but it doesn't take out the top one. No, Mindy, there's still a target always, because even if you're in chop like this, what they're actually doing, and you can clearly see, basically like drawing a line right on here. You notice where I just jumped right in with 3 more and took it when it hit this swing right here? Okay, just so I could add some profit. That's because when it's in chop like this, I expect it to go no lower than the lightning swing, but I also don't expect it to go any higher than like right here. And if I see an ellipse, then I don't expect it to go any higher than the ellipse without hitting its head. You see what I mean? Matter of fact, if you want to, by the way, we should have just gotten, well, we didn't quite get down to the mid-band on that, did we? To the ellipse. Let's see if we can get, I'm going to turn on bar close. If this bar will close down, that is. I like to get a bar down, touch that mid-band or that ellipse. We're trying to get an ellipse touch. That's touching this one. See it? Swing. Okay, so, well, we didn't get it, did we? Try it again. Long bar close. Touching the ellipse. It's not getting to this one yet, though. Now, you could also box this in. Let's do it that way instead. You want to? Well, we already got it. It's too late. But anyway, you could box this in. You can clearly see that, right? See that little box? Let's pretend you're not even in it and just hit the market order if it happens to pop it. See there? Okay. Now, where would you think that more than likely, since this is starting to get higher lows and staying above mid-band now, that this is probably going to at least come to? Probably right in through here. So couldn't you take off like we teach in the room all the time, if it does happen to get up to this line, go ahead and take, say, even a couple of them off. And GW, on your question from earlier, we're keeping the stop under here, notice, because this is our lightning swing. And I'll go ahead and just draw it again so we can all see it. Lightning 3 is right there. See, so that's a high, that's a low. Now this has not gotten a higher high yet. So technically this is not your low. Okay, but when you're dealing with lightning 3, you probably want to just kind of watch it stair step up, because even though it hasn't taken this out yet to establish a low, that's still getting higher lows. And that's pretty good indication that you could trust this stop right here. If it's within a couple of ticks of the previous one though, I'd probably just trust it instead. Okay, let's see if we can take some profit off of it. Now, is everybody seeing a little bit easier way to see some safe and probable, high probability type trades, highly profitable trades that you can take, like this even? Let's see, I don't see the targets on OT. Well, the target's way up here right now because I just took it out of the way. Because see, a minute ago I turned off the targets. I only had one on. Technically, you would want to be with all 4 targets, not just one shot. But I forgot while I was teaching to turn these back on before I fired those other 3 contracts. Okay, let's just stick with lightning 3 and see if we can stick with this trade. We'll just see if we can. As soon as lightning, now keep in mind that just the way I teach on lightning, you're going to be able to see your identified swing. You know, for instance, you've got a high here, a low here, higher high here. These are just kind of trying to take out this top here, but they haven't done it yet. So until they do it, this is not your identified swing. This is. Now, if you were trading like this, obviously you'd have to bring that stop all the way under here. I wouldn't recommend that because you don't have to give up 21 ticks on a profitable trade. Okay? You could still more than likely trust this as it, you know, kind of oscillates up. So I'd still put my stop underneath the swing myself. And as soon as it takes out this with a little bit of a vengeance, you could even trust this swing if it identifies it. And you'll find out in a minute if it does, because a number will appear there. Let's see, does price always go back when price comes down and touches an ellipse? Please explain. Well, GW, on your question, those ellipses are calculated by the software that is actually calculating those swings that are being made by those prices, and calculating even in chop where you can more than likely take some trades, you know, and stay with the trend, obviously. And when they hit these ellipses and, you know, you see it come down to a swing like we took this trade a little while ago, you could have boxed in, got a little bit of a trade, still kept your stop in, you're still in. We've even added a few, you know, to get a little bit more profit. But this particular way of trading right here, you'd of course have to wait for your stop to naturally show up here. But you can even turn, let's see, that would be, yeah, you'd have to actually use this one here, and it would have to be a swing strength of 15. And let's see if it would draw it right. I'll just hit, yeah, it's drawing it right. You could actually then use this as your stop to do your, like your exit on close and turn on your engage, and it'll pop it right up to it, should. Let's see, trail, engage. There we go. And then I'd probably offset it just a little bit and then re-engage it. That way you don't get taken out by a wick. But see that, you could actually do this swing strength by just changing that to a 15 swing strength, and that's based on a 4-range chart. And then as this changes, this stop, see the stop move up there now automatically? So that's not a bad way to actually do this, wouldn't you think? if you want to go for, not some of these really tight stops and actually ride lightning. Now notice we didn't get any higher yet. Now until we get higher, I still don't consider this to be, even though the a priori swing is showing up there, see how it printed? 1739, 739. It printed, you can see it right there, a little yellow. So lightning is still stepping up, isn't it? But I don't consider this real until it takes this out over here by a good solid 5 or 6 ticks at least. Let's see if it does. See it, so far it just hit it. It's like a little double top. There you go. Now that's enough, isn't it? Now that's your lightning 3. But keep in mind that went all the way to 72 and that's down at 39. That's 33 ticks if you trade this particular way. Okay? And believe me, you don't have to do that. Okay? Because I actually see a short coming up on this thing right now myself even, but we've already missed it. It was right here with lightning. Right here. See, because you'd use lightning 1. See the swing? Lightning. So I would have probably shorted that to try to get down and test like this swing here. Or even this swing here. Let's see if we can stay in this trade though, just for the fun of it. Now I would, like I say, I would probably, once they make a fresher high and they barely take it out, I would probably be getting out of this trade because we already had like $600 and that's with 4 contracts still left. So I would definitely be closing out 3 of those contracts by now. Matter of fact, under here for sure. Okay, let's see if we get a little bounce here. We might not. Because with 4 contracts, you'll be given back a bunch. Okay, because that's $20 a tick. Go ahead and take this off for a second. That's getting a lot of noise on the chart. I hope I'm not freezing up here. My sound's still good? Because my chart is not doing what I want it to do. Just one second. Sound still okay? Well, it's probably just this silly chart then. There it goes. Had to catch up. Now, wouldn't you be going ahead and getting out of this trade? Because this is obviously retracing more. You see what I mean? Don't hold 4 contracts through this kind of a pullback. On this kind of a pullback, you don't mind with 1 contract, but with 4 contracts, I would have taken it out on lightning because that's where we draw our lines in the room. Now I'm going to have to wait and see, even with 4, is it going to respect this or not? No, I wouldn't wait that long. I'd actually get back in it, is what I would do. So let's see, if we get a bar up, we'll stick it out for a minute. If we get a bar down, we'll go ahead and get out of it. Yeah, and you could also see you could have gotten out on a trend line too. While I was talking, if this was real money, you'd be giving up a couple of $100, and I don't like to give that much money up myself. We'll see if this bar bounces at all. I would definitely get out of it though if it takes that out now, with 4 contracts anyway. And I'd probably go ahead and sell 2. See where that's trying to pop up to a little resistance right there. If it makes it any higher, it would go to here. Everybody see that? Now, if we get taken out of this, where do you think our next trade is on this chart? What do you think? Well, we could watch for a lightning swing. I'm still okay with our 2. Let's see what this does. This is a little slow. Okay, looks like we're going to be out of the trade. Let me get it underneath here. Turn my trail enabled off. Now this is where it should bounce right here. See it right there? See that swing right there? And where's our resistance? Well, right up here is our resistance. And since this is going sideways and it almost took out our swing, see why I got in that one right there? Lightning swing was right there on the money for a quick little trade. Now, if you want to hold this stop instead, we can even do that still, as long as we just got, one or so, maybe even two contracts, which would be right under here, under your lightning swing. But you can also look at like lightning 2 and see, I wouldn't personally let it go any lower than this right here myself. But if you want to try to ride what we call gustos, see, that looks like that might get us. That got us. Now, whoa, wait a minute. I see a trade. We called this trade in the room this morning. See it right here? Is that lightning right there? That's lightning right there, isn't it? I like to use bar close. Remember, I called this trade in the room this morning on Phantom. Everybody remember it? We boxed it in, remember? Matter of fact, that's the box. You can see it on the chart. It's gold. You loved that one, John? That was a good one, wasn't it? We got plenty of time to get it because there's your swing right there. I would have personally liked it right in through here. I'm pretty sure that's where I called it this morning, but I would definitely take a bar close to the upside. If you don't want to risk that, of course you could wait for it to break the box. Your box is right here. See it? That's lightning. Everybody sees that, right? Thrust, retrace, thrust. That's your micro lightning. Okay? And a phantom trade. What do we talk about phantom trades? Lots of times. How to make safe and profitable trades? Phantom. Phantom. Okay? Those phantom trades are really good. Look at these right back here even. Phantom trade. That one almost got to phantom. Not quite. This has been totally only up anyway. There's a mid-band trade. Look how that comes right into those ellipses though. See there? You draw a line on that ellipse, you could have gotten that trade. Look at that one. Right on the ellipse, could have gotten that trade. Right on the ellipse, could have gotten that trade. Right on the ellipse, could have gotten that trade. That one you would have gotten in here, but it wouldn't have taken you out. Still got you a trade. Those ellipses are pretty good. Those will make you some very safe and profitable trades on just those ellipses alone. Okay, let's get rid of Lightning 3 for just a minute because it's kind of cluttering the chart up. And I'm going to get rid of the lines. And let's study this. Now let's stop this for just a second because I want to show you how you can still safely get in this trade based on lightning. I'm just going to kill this trade right here. Okay? You see lightning right here? Thrust, retrace, thrust. This was your entry right down here. You could have even drawn a trend line as far as that goes because it clearly busted that trend line even right through here, right? Okay? But a safe trade, safe and profitable trade is also right there with lightning, and that barely closed at it. This one closed below it. So couldn't you just put it above there even like that and box it in? Use your little insert key. What did we say we were looking for? Long trades only, right? Of course, at the open of the market, you can look both ways. Okay, but be careful just getting barely into a trade that goes the opposite direction. When you've got a blue midband like this, You want to be really careful going against it because that means that trend is up. All right, let's see if we can get that trade. We'll do it with like 4 long out touch plus 2. There were several opportunities to get in that trade. There we go. We got it. All right. What I like to do real quickly is I move my targets out of the way so I can strategically place them where I want them. See that swing right there to the left? Bring your chart over. I'd want to get that swing. See it? That's where I would want to go. Then my next target, probably either here or even here. If you got more than one contract, you could put it there. Another one right here. Looking to the left to trade the right. And then get this one out of the way. Just totally out of the way. All right. Now, drawing on your chart though, let's see if we can figure out another smart entry if this does a thrust up. You want to see if we can get one? Well, let's look at our lightning. I'm going to quit calling that a priori. All right, let's look at our lightning swings. I'm going to get rid of predictor for just right now so it doesn't clutter my chart. All right, we teach all the time, don't we, that if you break previous resistance, you want it to kind of pull back and kiss it, right? Let's see if we can get something like that. Let's speed this up just a little bit. Is everybody getting a good idea of what are some really good high probability type safe trades that you can take? I mean, we draw these all the time in the room. Okay, that's right at resistance, isn't it? It's taking it out. You got a swing right there. You got a swing right here. So it should get another trade between those two lines. All right. That came down to what? 60, 70? I would probably just do this then. That's too late almost now. That's good enough. We'll do a bar close. Should kiss right here at 72. And there's just another entry. Now, keep in mind at the open of the market, okay, when it's been chopping around like this and now it's heading up, you probably don't want your stop all the way under here with 5 contracts. You can still utilize Lightning 2 to give an example. Let's see what Lightning 2 looks like. Shift key. We'll go ahead and drop from this side right here. All right, so Lightning 2 is right here, isn't it? So we'll bring our stop just under Lightning 2 like that with exit on close. Now we shouldn't go any lower than this little swing right here and this one right here to kind of kiss. You can see by looking to the left to trade the right. See how those bounce right off these numbered swings though? They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. Now looking to the left to trade the right, we don't have anything to look at, so we just have to get our targets out of the way. You might go ahead and take a target like on a trend line. I drew that in the room this morning. That looks like that's it actually to me. Yeah, I'd probably take off a couple of contracts. Sell a couple. Reason because it hit my trend line. And then just ride your runner. And where's our swing now? Well, our Lightning 2 swing is under here now. See, but the whole thing is, and GW, on your question from earlier, Lightning 3 is more for like either a gusto trade or to tell what the trend's really doing. Okay, but when it's like 40 ticks down, you don't want to use that as your stop. I mean, if it's going to head up, shouldn't Lightning continue heading up? See, we got a high, we got a low, we got a high, we got a low because it took out this high, right? Everybody knows in this room how to read identified lightning, right? Because identified lightning is important because until it's identified, it's not lightning. Okay? High, low. That's not your low necessarily at this point right here, right? Because this high, we don't have a low except all the way down here, right? Okay? But once this is taken out, then that's my established identified swing on an uptrend. Just the opposite on a downtrend. So as it makes these little swings with lightning, see how this made a higher high from way down here, but see how this low wasn't right yet because it never took out the high. This low is not even established yet, is it? Until it takes out this high. And once it does, that is established. See there? And you can even wait for it to take out two of them if you want to. You know, like 2 4-range bars until it establishes. Because to me, that is now an established low on what I call my micro trend. Okay? And as long as that micro trend continues up, is this my established low yet? Question for the team. Is this an established low yet? Got my tongue twisted. No, it's not, right? But it will be an established low if it takes out this swing. Let's see if it does. Wicked it. I still don't count it, right? Remember what a wick is? Wicket can actually go ahead and pull back. Closes above it, we'll take it. All right. Now this is pretty much your swing right here now, right? So as far as I am on the chart now, realize we've got some room on the right side of the chart anyway. But see how you can clearly see how these swings will hold? This is how Charles and I call these trades in that room and stay in trades for a long, long time. See that? Is that established right there? You know, if you want to, by the way, not get taken out of trades so easily, you can always do like we teach, and that's like use a heavier stop and a tighter stop. Okay? And that's as far as we've gotten so far. Okay? Let's just watch lightning, and everybody tell me where you would put your stop on this chart. Only when it shows you that it's there. Wicked it doesn't count yet, right? That counts, doesn't it? So wouldn't your stop be all the way up there? Like that? And if you see a swing really close to it, just go ahead and lag it back just a little bit. Because that way you know that as long as this does this zigzag up, you're going to stay in that trade. Because do we want to give up these targets? We've only got, well, with 3 contracts, you might give up one of them or something, because 3 is a lot to have a pullback, especially that far. But watch lightning draw. Now see, notice lightning 2 doesn't draw yet because this is a lightning 1 chart so far. It's not giving enough to draw lightning 2 just yet. Because lightning 2 has to have 2 bars to go consecutively at a swing. That's why this is not drawing yet. So in that case, what would you do? Well, you could draw lightning 1 and keep an eye on it instead. See, that's your identified swing. See there? And you could literally stick with this trade, couldn't you, for a while? What does everybody think about trading this particular way? Doesn't it work? I mean, doesn't it give you the opportunity to get some of the best trades that you could ever possibly get? But it will. If somebody's new to it and you haven't seen this, I showed last week, to give an example, with using 1 contract only. Now, where's our lightning swing, by the way? I would say it's right there. And by the way, I would probably actually even reverse it for 5 ticks myself, but that's just me, and I'll go for 5 ticks with, say, 3. And that's if it takes me out. We may still stay heading up. There we go. See if I get my 5 ticks or not. Where's my lightning swing on this chart? It's not identified just yet, is it? So if I put my stop as close as this without this closing below here, see, that could actually come on up. Whoa, that almost got me. May still. That was a high energy time. Still okay on it while I was talking. Let's see if we can get it. Looks like we're going to get it. Let's see. Mindy's saying, I still don't understand what identifies a swing. Not a problem, Mindy. I'll be happy to show that. Let me just quickly show that. Let me just kill the trade. We don't care about it, right? All right. Let's go back here, and I'm going to turn off Lightning 2. Okay, and first I'm going to draw it on the chart so you can see it real quickly. I'll go ahead and get rid of these. Okay, I'm going to draw it manually first. Okay, let's say that you start with a low and you've got a high, right? That's not even an established high yet because we don't know if this is going to continue up, okay? But the way that the market moves is usually a thrust, roughly a 50 to 61% retracement, something like that, right? But when does this swing become identified? Okay. Not yet, right? Because I'll just draw a line across here. See this line right across the top of that little peak there? It has to take it out. That would be identified to this swing right here. Okay. Now the opposite would be on a short. So in other words, you've got an established three-legged trend, right? You've got a low, you have a high, you have a higher low, and you have a higher high. Okay, so this is my established swing on what we call like a minor trend. Okay, and you're really doing the same thing even on a large trend. This is virtually the same thing. Let's just say that you had a run like this instead, and you had a pullback like this, and then you had another run like this. Is that an established swing yet? And the answer is no, because it hadn't taken out that high. If it takes out that high, like that, that's an established swing right there. See that? And it just depends how much you want it to take out the swing to establish it in your eyes. I like it for it to just simply close above on my minor swings. Because with a minor swing, if you wick it, it didn't establish this. And let me show you what happens when they do that. Let's just pretend this is a wick instead right here. And it just barely wicks it, all right, like that. Let's just pretend that's one tick above there. That's not established yet because that's a wick. And what usually happens to you is this. They'll come down and they'll barely take out that swing. See how that took it out by like a tick? Let's just go ahead and take it down 2 ticks, all right? Now, that's what they do in the markets because this is not an established high yet, and this is not your established low because they haven't taken out this high. Okay, so let's say that this now is a little lower than this, right? Than this little swing here, but this isn't even identified until it takes out swings. So see, that's the way they wick you out of these trades. You put your stop here before that takes out that swing and they'll wick you out of the trade just like that. And they'll do that 153,000 times a day. Well, maybe not that much, but anybody that's traded in the room, everybody sees that same thing, right? Constantly getting taken out of trades because of being wicked out. That's because you haven't established your swing yet. Until it takes out the swing to the left, you don't know your low yet. Now you know that you had this low. Let's say this was way down here. So you got a high, you got a low, you got a fresher high, but it only wicks this. This could even go as low as all the way down here even, right? Let's get this out of the way. See what I mean? This is your low right here on this particular swing, and see it's kissing it. Let's just pretend it didn't quite kiss it. Let's say it did this. Now is this low lower than this low? Not yet, right? Because it could take this out. That's support. But when this becomes a swing is when it zigzags up and it takes out your previous highs. Okay, So that's what they do. They do these like thrust and then A, B, C, okay? And then, you know, sometimes they'll just barely wick it. I'm just showing a little deeper, but this didn't identify this swing until it took out these highs here, okay? And now look at the actual chart and you'll see it in real time. Let's go ahead and draw it. I'll put on Shift 2, Lightning 2. All right, so let's go over to the chart, and I'm going to get rid of all this other stuff on here. It doesn't matter. All right, Mindy, on your question, we've got a swing down here. Let's just say we just started here. We don't care about all this right now. This is our low. This is our high, but it's not established swing yet, right? As far as right here, it's not. See the swing right here? It hadn't taken out that high. Okay, notice how this one wasn't established before. See how this pulled down and it barely pulls up like so? That's not an established swing yet because it would have to take out this high on the way up to establish. So then you watch the bars. Is this an established swing yet? No, because it's got to at least take this swing out. And since this one's so close, I would want to even take this one out. So to me, until it takes this swing out right here with a closed bar, like so, that's now my established micro swing. And when you move your stops to those micro swings like that, they work out pretty good. Okay, because watch what happens. And then I'm going to ask you the same thing. You tell me when our next swing gets identified. We're starting to pull back a little bit. All right, where's our swing going to be identified? We don't know yet, right? When it starts breaking up a little bit, we might get a hint. See, it's coming down a little bit further. Now, even though this number printed and we know that's our identified swing, it's not our identified swing yet. Look how it just came down and kissed support. That's a good area to get that trade, by the way. We teach that entry, thrust, retrace, right back in support. Grab the trade, okay? But when does this swing become identified? Well, you can also look at lightning to, you know, this has got a little thrust down, retrace, right? You can draw lightning 1 here. And technically, this could be identified when it takes out this, okay? But to be truly identified on, you know, this being a new low, it's got to take out this previous high, okay? So watch and see if that doesn't happen. Now see how they're just kind of zigzagging around? When does this become my swing right here? Is when it takes this out with a close. Wicked it both times, not a swing. Closed above it. It's a swing. And that's a beautiful way to watch your trades. Now your lightning, when you're going from down to up, see where it took out that swing? Those are trades that you can jump into because that's what we do when we box in. You know, let's say you were watching this and you had not gotten in this trade yet, all right, and you saw this happening in real time. All right, high, low, lower high, not established swing yet, right? Even on our micro. If it closes below, like that, see it closed below our little swing here, that identifies this swing on what we call lightning. So could you actually box this in like this? Yes. Now keep in mind you'd have to have your stop under here. Okay, so let's say you get in that trade on the close of that bar. Stop's under here. You could now bring your stop under here on what we call the micro lightning, but technically your swing is actually way over here on higher lows and higher highs, and see it just took it out over here. So that's your swing. But you can still protect your trade with lightning 1, okay? Because for instance, if you put your stop here, you're already in the profit, right? And just watch lightning 1 and you can stay with the trade. See, here's your lightning 1 swing. See there, you got a higher low again. See that? See how you can stay with these trades like this? Now our swing's right here. Now our swing's right here, isn't it? See how it's taking out the high over here? New established swing because it closed above it. Where's our swing now? Is it here? Or is it actually still here? Because this actually did not close above this. See, the bar went down. This bar, let's see, this bar did go up, so it did technically make that your swing right there. Okay, because that did close above that. Now where's our swing? Right here. See there? High, low, higher, high. And the beauty of lightning is that you got lightning 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can actually literally trade all 4 of them if you want to. You know, you could go in long term, to give an example, with, you know, and just ride a complete trend as far as that goes. But you'd have like a 70, 80 tick pullback, right? That would be the difference in lightning 4. I would probably just do lightning 3 if I was going to trade, you know, a longer term trend. Okay. Now we're going to come up with, I'm still talking to my programmer, and I'm going to try to come up with a neat little gadget that will do something like this. Let me copy this and I'll show you what it'll do. It'll be something like this. And then each one of these, this will be like lightning 1, lightning 2, lightning 3, and lightning 4. And it's going to show you if this trend is up, this trend is up, or this trend may be down, and this trend might be down, but you might still be able to get, you know, some decent like trend changes and things. We're going to probably call it like either a heat indicator or a color guard or something like that. But for instance, you would actually have, you know, like a little, let's say if it was a red one, to give an example, and like this one was, say, lightning 1 and 2 were up, then it would look something like this. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with it, but it'd be something like this, right? Let me get on it again. I got the wrong one. There we go. So what it's going to do, it's going to basically show you that, you know, for instance, this will be lightning 1, this will be lightning 2, this might be lightning 3, but it's showing you that lightning 2 is starting to head up. Well, when this one then changes right here, you know, to maybe, who knows, like a green or something like that, and this will be done where it'll do it in real time, obviously. And then see, you'd be having lightning 1, 2, and 3 up. And then, of course, if lightning 1, 2, and 3 was up, more than likely even your lightning 4 would be up. And of course, it would even be possibly even a little heavier color or something like that. But anyway, we're going to try to have it like either show up on the chart, and you'll be able to see, you know, what the strength is on each one of them. Probably like a gradient type, you know, like how strong is it? Like this would be very strong, so that'd be major green or blue, major green or blue. This is major green or blue, and even this one is, because this trend is through the roof, okay? And that would show you those colors like that. And we'd be able to tell what's going on a little easier, okay? Chai, on your question, what is the significance of knowing identified swings and what way it helps in entering a trade? Oh, it's immense in entering a trade, because you can box in. And on the next webinar, and that leads to that topic, as a matter of fact, because the next webinar I'm going to teach how to use the T and B button on Object Trader, long inside, long outside, short inside, short outside, bottom, same thing on the top, okay? We're going to go over how to use this on regions, rays, and sniper. That'll be next Wednesday's webinar. All right, did everybody enjoy this one? Hope you got something out of it. And keep in mind that if you stay with the trend, whichever it is, if you're trading lightning 1, then trend trade it. If you're trading lightning 2, trend trade it. If you're trading lightning 3, same thing. Okay? And of course, you can clearly see where to put your stops, just the way we teach it all the time, identified swings. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the morning in the trading room. Good night.